really personal vlogging. I have to go on technical academic information of chemistry. How to solve, different stoichiometric relationship when it comes to the gas behavior in the atmosphere. Wow, gas talaga. Okay, ganon. Okay, so I have problem number 1. Oh my gosh. So I need to go to the basic first before going to average, then a little bit difficult. Okay. So actually at this point in time it's not my plan to vlog, but I really want to vlog because I feel boring. Kung di ko maka-vlog, boring ko guys. Okay? Like that. So sana to ani atong kuan whiteboard. Ato sa isulat ang mga problem uy. Ganan. Asan ka tong kuan? Okay, ako sa masahod guys. If you have a blank sheet of paper in your hand right now, then if you have, then you can take down the statement or the question here. Okay, so first question, my gosh. A 250 milliliter ballon, I cannot say it perfectly, contains 0.35 moles of nitrogen gas. If 0.45 moles of nitrogen was added to it, what will be the volume of the balloon? Duha na given. Diba? Again, a 250 milliliters balloon contains 0.35 moles of nitrogen gas. If 0.45 moles of nitrogen gas was added to it, what will be the volume of the balloon? Di ba nakakaloka? Kung saan naman ninaming nga gayon na. So given. Di ba? Magsunod yun ako kung saan sa. Okay. So, makita nyo naman magpapapasyon. At 25, 250 ml balloon, ganun, contains of 135 moles of N2 gas. N2 gas, okay, if 0.45 moles of N2 gas added to it. What will be the volume of the balloon? So what you can expect for this kind of problem, this will be going to the atmosphere, right? The balloon will fly to the atmosphere. So what comes in your mind, sometimes you will consider the gravity, right? What comes first in your mind? The gravity, the pressure surrounding the balloon. So let's just have an optional criteria. What are the possibilities that we can attach to this particular problem? So it's gonna be the outside pressure of the atmospheric air, outside pressure, and the inside pressure also of the gas content inside the balloon, which is normally here it's being mentioned nitrogen gas. It's not mentioned the helium, and then it's not mentioned also that it's gonna be hydrogen gas. Usually it's helium if balloon, okay? But this problem is hypothetical because they put nitrogen inside the balloon, which is not practical. So usually it's helium, something like that, okay? So I don't think so. It's only hypothetical, meaning not the reality, but our purpose only is to understand how to calculate. You get the point? Oh, ganon. So investigate. So in this, there is only one substance present here, which is specifically an inert gas, nitrogen gas, N2. Okay, so this is given and data. There's no other thing, there's no other substance. When we speak about substance, we need to identify the three phases of matter: solid, liquid, and a gas. And through that, we can identify if it exists as an element, okay, a metal, a non-metal, something like that. Or it will exist as a liquid or a gas. Okay? Something like, primero, if you try to solve science problems with regards to liquid, solid, and gas, hinumduman permi. The three states of matter and the three phases of matter. And then we will be happy if we can see only one phase of matter because it is tantamount that is very easy to solve compared to different phases involved in one particular problem. So we will be happy to that. But if we find so many substances involved in one problem, then it creates a little bit of confusion. But we should not surrender. We still also try our best, having our knowledge of different science formulas in our brain cells. That we need to inject that in our hippocampus, in the brain and the knowledge storage of our brain part. Okay? Near to the cerebellum of our brain cells. You get the point? Something so that our neurons will function very well. Neurons talaga. Okay? Ganon. So given or data. Okay. Kasalanan gini ni neurons sa atong action part, okay, of our brain structures. Ganon. Sa atong nerve. Nerve talaga. Nervous system. Central nervous system. CNS. Okay, we have the given data is nitrogen gas. My goodness, I hate drugs. Okay, volume. As you can see, not say, grammar-wise. Okay, we have 250 milliliter. This is gonna be the initial because we have also another volume that we need to try to find out. So, muna siya pang hinumduman nga, hala, duha lagi ka volume, duha lagi ka kuan. So, klaro kayo, magkuan na ka, mag-equate. Muna mong hinumduman first. Okay? Kung wala ganing nga mga chupa-chucho, di na siya possible. Okay? Go to the traditional and conventional formulas nga dito sa mga formula. Okay? But if may mga 1, 2, initial, final, klaro kayo nga mga 1, 1, 2, initial 1, final, initial, final, initial, final. So think of the formulas that involves like that also later on. Just like here. Okay, so V1, V initial. So V1 lang ang ibutang. So 250 ml. Okay? And then V2, what will be the volume of the balloon? Actually, wala i-specify nga final volume, but it's understood. Okay, the next volume to be find out is really the final volume. We should not always be literal, always in solving problems, that we need to get the keywords in order for us to understand. Sometimes we need to, to have a direct assumption that it's gonna be what we are trying to solve. For example, like this. What will be the volume of the balloon? We need to say that's the final volume. We don't have to put the word final just to get the final volume. We do not wait the hint, H-I-N-T. We don't wait for the clue, C-L-U-E. Okay, in order for us to troubleshoot that this is the final volume that we are trying to solve. Okay, we don't have to be literal always. You get the point in solving the problem. Okay, so that's gonna be V2 or VF final. So I have to put question mark. Ganon. Now, our N1 here is, ano yung N1 sa Sotero? Because that is 0.35 mole. So, in chemistry, we have 4 semesters in chemistry, right? If you take engineering courses, applicable for all engineering courses and also science courses. Naging na siya chemistry, okay? I don't know with other courses, maybe they have, but only for 1 semester, not as rigid compared to science courses and engineering courses, because we are having the same. Though the approach of the chemistry, chemical engineering and basic chemistry, a little bit difficult compared to the approach of electrical engineering chemistry, mechanical engineering chemistry, because we are really centering on the chemistry because our course is really chemical engineering. And on the other hand, BS chemistry, so BS Chem. So meaning to say, we really have to put masterpiece on the chemistry, science, and principles compared to other engineering courses, because that is our line of specialization in which you will be able to use that after first year, second year, third year, fourth year. We continuously use that. That's why we need to memorize a lot regarding concepts and basic principles of chemistry. Get the point? Something like that. Okay, going back to the data. So we have the nitrogen gas, and then we have also the N. N, small letter N. Again, what's this small letter N all about? Okay, so I think all engineering courses are familiar to this because, as I said earlier, we are studying chemistry, all of us. Okay, but specifically, the small letter N is identified as the unit of the amount of substance. Okay, that is mole, M-O-L-E. So I never forget this because when I joined chemistry quiz bowl and science fair when I was in high school, there's always question like this. Question number one, blank is the unit of the amount of a substance. Thank, thank, thank. There's no choice like that only. After 10 seconds, you will answer and you raise your placard like this. The answer will be mole, M-O-L-E. That's why I already inject that in my brain cells for the past 30 or 20 years. So it will never be forgotten until my last breath. Okay? So that is mole, M-O-L-E, the unit of the amount of substance or the unit of measurement of the amount of substance. Substance could either be a liquid, a gas, or a solid, as I said earlier, over and over again. Okay. So small letter N. So N1 will be, paspas ako guys. So that's my weakness. I talk very fast and very spontaneous. Okay? So I can't manage to slow down a bit. Forgive me for that. Okay, so N1 is equals to 0.35 moles. Okay? 0.35 moles. Something like that. So our N2 also, the particular problem will be 0.45 because in the second sentence, it has been specified and stated that if 0.45 moles of N2 gas added to it, comma, klaro kayong phrasing. The phrasing is very clear. So N2 is 0.45 mole. That is not moles because 0.35 is not reaching 1. Wrong grammar. Okay, that is 0.35 mole only, not moles. Okay? Sorry, that's chemistry grammar. It's not only English have the grammar, but also science have also grammar. Okay? Math grammar, science grammar, chemistry grammar, physics grammar, not only limited to English grammar. Okay? So 0.45 mole. Sorry for that. Grabe kayo sa gabay na kisayok, no? Okay. Nakakaloka. Scrutinize yun, ituki yun. Okay. Now, so V2. So, unsa na itong ipangitaan ni Gayuna? Charot. Okay, so V2. Hala, what concept we're trying to analyze here? So, lisod-lisod na gamay, no? Because this topic is really not common. Though this is part of the basic, but it's not commonly discussed all the time. Okay? Sometimes the instructor will discuss this roughly. Sometimes also other instructors discuss it seriously. It depends on the attitude and the trait of your teacher, an instructor and professor, huh? Because not all mentors have the same characteristic, trait, ability, and attitude how to do the discussion in the classroom instruction. You cannot expect they have the same attitude of delivering the discussion comprehensively, well, or whatever they wanted to. Okay, you cannot expect, oh, this should discuss this. No, it's not like that. Okay, you get the point. Especially the limit time is only 1 hour per subject or 1 hour and 13 minutes. So you cannot expect also to discuss in detailed manner. You get the point. So it's better for you really to go to the library, to dig it up, to research by yourself so that you can understand well. Apart from the discussion of your mentors, could it be your teachers, instructors, professors, or whatever, name it. Okay, so you need to study by yourself and go to the library as much as you could. If there are topics that are very, very difficult for you to understand and it creates confusion for yourself, something like that. You get the point? So there's to be an extra effort in order for you to learn a little bit, systematically and organized. You get the point? Okay, something like that. Okay, now V2. So kung bato ni Ani, so if this is a type of problem that involves gas, what comes to your mind? So also gases topics. So something pinaka-common, guys. Okay. In our science, in our chemistry, we always deal with ideal gas laws. There's no other. So if we try to study non-ideal gas law, it would be a little bit of complicated because that is too experimental to consider. Especially, the behavior of non-ideal gas is really closer to, complex, very complex. We need to consider the intermolecular interaction forces in the particular phase of matter. Whereas the ideal, there's no such deeper study on the intramolecular reaction forces. What I mean for this is itong mga kuan guys, itong mga atoms, protons, neutrons, electrons, positrons, baryons, magagano siya. Photons, magagano diba? Nucleons, what else? Beta ray, gamma ray, mga particles siya, elementary and subatomic particles, in which we need to study the chemical interactions for that. So that would be considered also in the non-ideal gas law. But in ideal gas law, we don't need to deal that. Okay? So especially in the kinetic molecular theory, we need to avoid that. Or kinetic molecular theory of gases, in which an ideal gas is a topic specifically for the principle. Okay, so it's in here, we need to consider the different types of the ideal gas laws. We have, for example, we have the combined ideal gas law first. Or there's no particular order, I just mentioned the basic formulas regarding gases or ideal gas specifically or particularly. Okay, we have the combined ideal gas law, we have the Charles law, the Gay-Low, Sachs law, the Boyle's law, and then the law of Pascal's law of partial pressures, Dalton's law of pressures. We have also the Avogadro law of gases. We have also the general gas equation or the ideal gas equation, which is the most popular known formula in solving an ideal gas. There are 8 formulas. So diha ra maglaro-laro ang atong formula sa atong ideal gas. Okay? Unless your problems in the future, for example, in your board examination, there will be a mixture of non-ideality situation and the ideality situation of a gas, in which it's being mixed in that particular problem, in which you try to incorporate the theory of Van der Waals equation. Van der Waals equation, this is an equation that is really pertaining to the non-ideality of a gas or non-ideal gas. Okay? You get the point. So this is for non-real gases. Okay? Non-real gases are also called non-ideal gases. Ideal gases are also called real gases. Ideal means perfection or almost close to perfection. Okay? So this is ideal, meaning to say too much theoretical, close to perfection. But we need to be careful also the terminology, okay? When we solve the problem. Even though they are not mentioned here, but we can understand also the process, okay? Because if it is really an ideal gas law, it will mention here the intermolecular force, like this. There's no such like that, right? And the covalent bonding, blah, 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 and the, interaction, dipole reaction, it's not mentioned here in that type of problem. Okay, so understood na wala din siya yung mga intermolecular reactions sa gas. So, di ka mo consider sa non-ideal gas, consider sa ideal gas. Ako na siyang gi-point out because a lot of students will focus only in ideal gas laws. We have also non-ideal gas. So don't forget that one class because it will come out in the board examination sometimes. Okay? Like that. Pairing, maganda siya guys. Pairing. Okay? So we have classification of gases, the ideal gas and the non-ideal gas. The ideal liquid and the non-ideal liquid. Ganon. Diba? So you should metal, non-metal. O ganon. Diba? So element, non-element. Diba? I don't know. Okay. So we have V2. So sabi na itong formula ganito na ni guys. Hala, mag-theory na yun ka. So imo hinumduman. Huwag man siya ma-apply dito sa itong mga kay moles man siya of volume. So ato na lang na siyang i-dritso by memorization or by stock knowledge. It's gonna be the Avogadro law when we deal with number of moles versus the volume of the gas. So what's the relationship of these guys? So guys, the relationship is, so sometimes makalimot ka, para karon nakalimot yung on the spot kung saan yung formula ni Avogadro. Okay? Because as I told you, though I memorized that in the past 20 years, okay, but I don't plan to vlog chemistry right now. Subject pa sa akong brain cells, mag-vlog ko karon. So ako nag-prepare. Nakalimot ko siya formula sa Avogadro. Lang sa akong buhaton. Muna siya yung buhaton, guys. If you forget the formulas in your brain cells, all you have to do, at least you know how to derive. That's the first. Second, at least you know how to understand the basic relationship, the direct proportionality, the inverse proportionality. Now, where we base that one, you should base that to the most basic equation. Okay, not to the complex. Okay, so in there, if you can see the, the directly proportionality and inversely proportionality, then we can say the relationship. For example, if the diameter is high, the speed is low or lesser. Just like that, if you have an opening of the tank, say for example, if you have a tank, cylindrical tank, and then you have the opening at the bottom, something like that. If the diameter is very small, it is understood to be fast, the velocity. Okay, that's what I mean of relationship of different operating parameters. Just know that first, because sure, the formula specific, you will forget that in your brain cells by the time passed. Okay, so that you will never forget, inject in your brain cells the properties, the relationship first. The relationship between the density versus the volume. The pressure versus the temperature. And then connect that in your brain cells and think of a formula that this will be associated and led to it, and bingo, you can easily troubleshoot the particular formula na nara sa imong brain cells. You get the point? Okay, it was been accumulated pala siya. Dili pa lang siya klaro. Okay? You get the point? Muna siya may tabo. Okay, go to Avogadro law. Avogadro law. In statement. Ganon siya guys. If you try to study me before when I was in college, my mode of study is not really based on numbers all the time. You get the point? I will never go directly to problem solving. I need to understand the principle and basic foundation before I solve something like so. My format first, I need to understand the statements of the principles. I need to understand everything, the relationship, the terminologies, the definitions, and then after that, I go to the math area. The formulas, the problem solving like that. That's the main reason I really passed the board examination. Really, I tell you honestly. Okay? Because I go first to the basic foundation before going to the problem solving. Because it's not a good attitude to go directly to the problem solving, because not all the time the problem solving will be stated in exact way of your instructors being presented in the discussion before. It will change. It will be modified. And then if you don't understand the concept and the principles, you will get lost. Nga. Because you will expect the same manner in what your instructor are being told you to do this, to do that, to solve this like that. But in the future, it will be modified. So how can you attack that particular problem? You are too much dependent of how it is being solved similarly in your classroom instruction before. In your first year college, second year college, third year college, fourth year college, fifth year college. Okay? So I know you solved 10,000, 1,000 problems, 100,000, but still, you cannot expect the same way of being phrased the problem really is, especially the conditions. It will vary because the main purpose of the examinations is really to test and to measure your ability of comprehension, your reasoning to the particular problem. It's not really that numbers, that you understand what you are trying to solve. Not really the math. It's not like that. Okay, because if it is difficult, average, simple, the same principle ang gikuhaan na nimo kung nakasabot ba jud ka. Okay, it's not really that you will try to do the complex because so that everybody will salute you. Oh, you are very intelligent. You solve already the most difficult problems. Not like that. Okay, get the point. So practice that in your attitude now. First, principles, basic concepts, and memorize all the processes while you are still in first year college. Processes, katong laking mga shun. Okay, and then go to the basic formula, relationship. If volume will increase, what will happen to the temperature? If diameter will increase, what will happen to this? O, ganon. So, after knowing the definition, the enumeration part, enumeration meaning, what are the 2 types of blah, blah, blah? What are the 3 types of blah, blah, blah? As much as you could also incorporate the scientists behind that principle. It's also good to learn that. Who discovered this one, so that it can add also you further quick thinking. You can easily also remember, this is Avogadro pala. Avogadro man yung problem. Hala, saan to formula Avogadro? Na nakay idea, if you also memorize that, who is the scientist formulated that particular concept. For example, 3 laws of motion. And you know that Isaac Newton is the one who discovered that one. So if you have the Isaac Newton in your brain cells, sometimes you will connect that immediately to the motion. So you cannot forget easily because you have an idea that this gonna be discovered by Isaac Newton. Okay, so let's go a little bit higher. For example, in the third law of, thermodynamics. Okay, thermodynamics in the major. For example, if you forgot the laws, and we have the 3 laws, right? If you remember Simon Nern's theory of the third law of entropy, okay, that all entropy of crystalline substance will always be equal to 0. So you can understand also like that. So no need to compute for entropy if the problem is belong to the third law. Okay, what is the entropy of the crystalline substance if blah 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 at temperature and pressure like this? No need to solve because the theory states that the perfectly crystalline solid in the third law of the entropy is always equal to 0. So meaning to say, waka kasabot sa theory, solve lang yapon ka. You get the point? So muna siya yung mga tricky parts sa examination. You should know the theory first before solving mathematically. You get the point? Okay, because sometimes through theory maka-answer na ka dito. So 0, ang theory ganun, ingon gud siya 0. Yan mo compute pa ka. Okay, those data are added to only to trick you, trick meaning T-R-I-C-K, or only if you really understand that kind of law or scientific law. There's no need to solve anymore, even though there's a lot of temperature 25 degrees Celsius, but the question is only like this: what is the entropy of the perfectly crystalline solid? Question mark. A 3.4, B 1.2, C 0, D none of the above. No need to compute 0. Things like that. It's very, it's very catchy and tricky in future board examination. You get the point? That's why you need to memorize the different laws like that from first year to 5th year college. Something. If you're taking up engineering, not limited only to chemical engineering, also the other engineering also have different laws, especially the civil engineering. Okay, the strength of the materials, engineering mechanics. There's a lot also of low there. Ito mga tension, tensile strength, and ganon. Okay, di ba? Okay, so stresses sa mga breach. Okay, mga ganon. So, i-memorize sa tumutanan. Okay, so para makasabot yung mga tensile stress, going down, going up, ganon. So, parihara po na siya sa chemical. All engineering, guys, not limited to chemical engineering, okay? You get the point? Nagkataon lang dyan na chemical engineering are loaded with so much memorization compared to other engineering courses because we study molecules. Molecules are very broad. After the molecules, atoms, and then subatomic elementary, and we need to study the behavior. Okay, the characteristic, the movement, the motion in which we cannot see. Okay? So that's only the difference. We cannot see the things we study. We cannot touch. We cannot. That's the only difficult in our field because we cannot see. We always imagine what will be happening of this molecule with contact to it because I cannot see the gas. Okay, like that. So that's the only difference. That's why it makes it difficult in that concept only, but the rest is the same. Okay, you got the point. Okay, something like that. That's the issue. Because mechanical, you can see the equipment. Electrical, you can see the circuits. Okay, what else? Industrial engineering, you can see the the accountancy part, the engineering. But chemical, we cannot see the universe. We cannot see the the comets. Okay, in our eyes, we cannot see because that's part of our study science, the pure sciences also. Okay. The chemistry of the universe, what I am referring to, right? After the Big Bang Theory, billion years ago, 35 billion years ago, right? And then the planets, the stars, the sun appear. Before that, there is a Big Bang Theory. Before that, the universe comes in. It's not a magic. It started in that, okay? A long time ago. And there, the universe comes. Imagine, mga anak ba, malisod kayo ng mga asteroids, steroids, nakakaloka. Hindi na ito makitaan. Especially may mga DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. Nakakaloka eh. Diyos ko. Saturated fats. Hindi makita sa mata ba? Okay? Yeah. with the help of that technology, we can see that in the monitor, the digital, digital technology to test the parameters. But what I mean, we cannot see without the technology. We cannot touch without the technology this molecule. Okay, we cannot say, oh, this is the proton. You will never say that, like, this is electron. Can you touch the electron? Can you touch the proton? You can never say that. Okay, so that's the difficult thing. And you can imagine also the Avogadro number. That's very difficult to consider. 6.2 times 10 to the 23 per mole. Imagine to the 23, how much is that? That's trillion, more than trillion. Okay, so you can never see that also in the, in the atom. Okay, or in the molecule, something like that. Okay, going back. Ano lang talaga, kung diba na guys, no, ang kuan lang jud siya, let's say the, pa sa guys, uy, nakaloka. Okay, the PV and RT. Sa na oras ko, matulog na ko. Itabihan kay ko guys. Okay, matulog na si Junjun na nakakaloka. Nakakaloka. Ako sa isulbong kaya guys ha. And then matulog na charot! Matulog na. Ay, hapit na alas 9. Yes! Matulog na ko. Char. So, ano siya guys? PV in RT. Okay. Now, if we try to compare that here, the only present here is the volume and the number of moles, right? So try to assume other constants are, under negligible. Meaning to say you are not considering that because other conditions are, you treat that as independent to that particular quantities. So you will say you eliminate the universal gas constant, you eliminate also the temperature, something like that. Okay, if you solve for the volume, it's gonna be like this: P1, V1, in1, R1, T1. Because in your data, you have the numbering subscript here: V1, V2, in1, in2. Yung nakalimut lang ko sa form. I forgot the formula of Avogadro law on the spot now. I could not remember whether it is inversely, directly. So it's easy to say in1 V1 is equals to into V2. What if it's also in1 over is equals to into over V2, right? So I will prove that through this derivation by relationship, so that I will be using the exact and the appropriate formula, so that it will not be a waste of time when my error ko, diba? So I need to discuss the relationship between the number of moles and the volume by using the basic equation of the ideal gas law, which is equal to the pressure times the volume times the number of moles times the universal gas constant R times capital T in Kelvin. Something like that. Okay, so I have here. So equation number 1. Okay. So equation number 2. Okay, so we have P2, V2, N2, R2, T2. And the quantities are common. In this situation, we need to use the law of algebra, basic math, which is the ratio and proportion actually. But ratio and proportion, you need to do that only if we have the same quantities with 1 and 2, initial and final. The concept is like that. But if the quantities are not the same, you cannot use ratio and proportion. You get the point? You might opted to use the interpolation. Okay, interpolation of data, and you let X somewhere along in the middle, like that, especially temperature and pressure, sa steam table, if you are studying, again, thermodynamics or physical chemistry. But here, it's just only chemistry, only talaga. Okay, so we have 1 over 2, so P1, V1, in1, R1, T1, V2, V2, equals to 22. Sir Sotero, di ba volume naman of moles ang niya na mong nag-appeal because we don't have other choices. See, for example, Pascal's law, it is also only all pressures are being mentioned. Okay? Ideal gas law, okay? Mo ni siya atong gigamit. Okay? Ang combined gas law, daghan kay masamot og kalubog. You get the point? And then the real law is not applicable. Because there's no also solubility constant, mga ganon. And not also the Henry's law because there's no Henry's constant, something like that. Okay, just this is not a vapor pressure lowering, something like that. Okay, it's not also the Boyle's law, kaya ang gikuan sa Boyle's law ang pressure, volume, temperature, ya constant ang temperature. The same as Charles' law, may ana ang pressure, volume, temperature, mo sa kang Gay-Lussac. Pressure, volume, and temperature. But ang naadiri ba ya, volume lang, ang naadiri, volume and moles lang. So di siya maigo. Di siya pasok sa banga. So ayaw atha. Okay, go to the basic PV in RT equation nga mao jud siya general or the basic. Okay? Now, so we treat wait. Okay, so we need to solve assuming we need to solve the V2 here. Okay, V2 in which mo ano pangita guys. So V2 is equals to P2. Okay, N2 ganun. Okay? V2 N2 R2 over P2. Okay, this is equation 3. Why I need to have equation 3? In order I can solve directly to be substituted in 1 and 2. Okay? Muna siya may tabo. Okay guys, ano ko yung V2? Muna akong gamiton para ma-solve this siya. Okay? Ganon. You got the point? Now, if I take the relationship of V1 and N1, so it's very clear that the volume is directly proportional with the number of moles. Okay? So it's gonna be, sa itong formula na gamiton ani, it's gonna be directly proportional lang siya. Okay? So, PV is equals to nRT. Volume is equals to PRT over N. Right? Okay? Volume, okay? nRTP. Ganon. Kuha din na mo siya, guys. Ito naman kay relationship. So, ano din mo siya? V is equals to P, okay, P, and then nRT. Ganon. So, P, ganon, and then N, R, T, ganon. So, directly proportional ang volume ng number of moles, then we can say, ito rin siya papasok guys. Ano rin mo guys? Papasok din mo siya, erase, and then you can say, volume is directly proportional to the number of moles. Right? So, therefore, we can say that volume 1, okay, in equilibrium to the volume, to the number of moles 1. Since we have also that 2, we also have V2 is equals to N2, like that, directly proportional with each other. You get the point? So we can say that here, okay, that V1, okay, ratio and proportion. So V1 is 2N1, and then V2 is 2N2. And this is ratio and proportional, right? Because the same quantities naman siya, volume and another point 1.2. So, naakay V1, naakay V2, naakay N2, naakay N1, makuha niyo ang V2 which is required in the problem. It's very easy. Okay? Just like the expression of concentration of N1, normality 1 times volume 1 is equals to the normality 2, volume 2. Okay, so ganitong normality, measurement of the expression of the concentration of the solution. So normality, moles of solute, equivalent weight of solute divided by the number of letter of solution. Okay? No, it's not. Nakalimot ko? Again. Memory, pasok! Normality is equals to the equivalent weight of solute over the replaceable number of H or OH. That's the normality. Kaya ang molality, moles of solute over the kilogram of solvent. And then the molarity or the moles per liter is equal to the moles of solute over the liter of solution moles per liter. So klaro kayo, ang normality, equivalent weight of solute over the replaceable OH or H ions during the chemical reaction. Okay? Replaceable meaning what is being replaced to the charges involved. Okay, for example, HCl will react to chlorine. Oh, ganon. So, replaceable H is only 1. Positive. Okay. Negative 1 masad ang chlorine. So, i-overdo nimo ang 1 kung ikwaon nimo ang normality sa HCl solution. Get the point? The equivalent weight, molecular weight naman na siya. I-divide mo how many mole, ganon siya. Muna yung equivalent weight of solute. Okay? Ganon. So, here, klaro kaayo. So, V2 is equal to V1. Okay, V1 250, okay, N2 0.45, and then over N1 which is 0.35. Ano yung answer ka sa V2 volume niya guys ha? Okay, manata. Dali na kayo guys do. Okay, so 250, di ba yung ginumduman? Sa ito pa pala guys, ang theory ni Kuan, ang theory ni Avogadro law, the number of moles of an ideal gas is directly proportional to the volume of an ideal gas. If the number of moles of an ideal gas will increase, so technically, the volume also of an ideal gas will increase at an ideal solution at standard temperature and pressure. So, muna na ang Avogadro law. Okay, even though I forgot, but if I remember the basic concepts, this derivation, then I can have back the definition of the theory and the formula also of the theory for that particular Avogadro law. Muna siya ang stock knowledge. Okay? Minipasok sa brain cells. Like first year college pa ka na or high school na mo flashbacks in mong memory after how many years. Muna siya stock knowledge. Okay, so 250 times, ganun siya ba chucho? Charot. Okay, 250 times 0.45. Okay, divided by 0.35. So our V2 is 321. 321. So NL. Now let's prove it. Let's prove it. See, I say, if the number of moles will increase, the number of volume also increase. Take note. Starting from 0.35, what is your volume at first? 250. Now you increase your number of moles to 0.45. What will happen to your volume? It's also increasing. It's expected to be higher than 250, and our answer is 321 ml. So that is valid answer. It is not valid if our answer is not 321, it's less than 250. Your answer is technically wrong. Di na siya correct. So magpakamatay pa ta. Because it deviates the theory. Okay? Again, from 0.35 moles of N2 gas, and it raised to 0.45 moles into that, it's expected that your 250 ml volume will increase. It's not decreasing based on the theory. Then, somewhere along the way of your solution, you get lesser than 250. Though you have a very good solution or a very lengthy solution, that's still wrong. Okay? Because it doesn't meet the theory. You get the point? Muna siyang kasagaran, diha masango ang mga examinees. Okay? Because dili na maguta mo, bisag ako, sometimes dili na ako mo consider when I solve the problem, especially kung nagdali ko. Right? Because this is only for the purpose of discussion. But sometimes if we have still enough time, we need to analyze also what's gonna be happening after. You get the point? Gamit ba kayo siya sa transport phenomena, guys? Momentum transfer, heat transfer, and mass transfer. Okay, imo yung i-troubleshoot kung sa may tabo after. Mutaas ba, muubos ba, mutaas ba, muubos ba. Okay? Get the point. Oh. Di ba sa'yo ra? Nakakaloka. Sa'yo na lang, tiganahan mo ka chemistry. Okay. Mura na siya. Wow. Ang uban ako ni sumbon, ugma lang na to. Dahil naman kayo gisuwag, guys. Wala. Kanila sa itong pilion. Random man siya, guys. Random choices of Vlad, because I write the problem first without solving. And then after that, I need to see the answer if it is correct here. Like that. It is correct, really, 321. Okay? Okay. There's no challenge if we try to look the solution right before vlogging. And then you need to be prepared always. It's no challenge for me. I don't like that also. I don't practice that in college. I need to see the solution first before I understand. I will solve first before going to the solution proper so that I really understand where particular area I am wrong. Okay? So this helps you to pass different examinations if your attitude is like that. Solve first the problem and then later on go back if you cannot understand. So that you challenge yourself that you really understand on the specific topic at present that your instructor is teaching you. Something like that. Okay? So ayaw pagsaligin ng tanaw jud ninyo ang solution niya una mo solve. Of course kana mag-study ka tanaw gyud nimo. Pero if you need to solve different kinds of problems that you never encountered pa, then solve it first, okay, before looking the solution. So, because it's part of learning to test the ability of your brain cells, mathematical ability. Me, I'm not good in mathematics really. I always keep saying that I'm not good in mathematics, but it was only developed, okay, through this kind of style. And I also research also what are the style really. I researched that. Okay, for example, the given, the data, the formula, the sketches to help to analyze the relationship, the derivation. I extracted that all. I said to myself, narasa akong brain sa wala ko ninyo sa mga classmates before. Wala ako, this is gonna be like this. Oh, okay. Ganon. So, you remember that, this is gonna be the way of proper solving. Oh, ganon. So, it doesn't have to be intelligent enough or intelligent that much in order to solve problems. If you have only the idea how to solve, then bingo. It doesn't matter whether you are intelligent or not. Really. For me, really. It doesn't matter already. The advantage of intelligent people only are they are very, very smart to get directly the shortcut way of solving the problem. Okay, they can easily find an option to solve it immediately, correctly, and in a very short manner. Okay, that's their advantage over the average students. But if you will just follow the proper way of solving the problems, I think all are equal. Okay, but for fast, quick analysis, they are advantage, of course. But for the normal way of solving the problem, it's gonna be applicable to all. There's no slow learner, there's no average learner, there's no intelligent learner, because that is standard how to interpret and analyze the problem. Lahi lang yun yung mga, genius or intelligent, dali lang sila makakuha, even though dila isot suwat ba. Okay, so sometimes they will just read and solve immediately. But the average students will put given like this formulas. What are the go to use? But for the smart people or intelligent people, where only few, or God only bless few, not so many. Let's accept that fact. There are few only intelligent and smart people. Okay, average people are more. Okay, compared to those people. So that's why we need to go or buy the proper way of solving the problem. Okay, and also different type of examinations also all over the world, whether it is global or local. They will target the audience, the most number of students. They will not focus on the difficult because they also see a lot of students not that smart enough. It's only in the average also. You get the point? That's why they will not try to make it difficult also. So meaning to say, first mentality of the situation. Di siguro lisod kay kung lisod ng mga hagbong tanan. Muna yung round primero. So mentality and positivism. Okay. Number 2, confidence. Okay, confidence, effort and time. Confidence, effort and time. Okay? Like this. Because if you have too much time, you can study a lot. If you have the confidence, then you are willing to understand and to solve the problem well because you have the confidence. If you don't have the confidence, then technically, by default, you cannot solve the problem. After reading it, because you don't have the confidence, of course. Okay? So, confidence, time, and effort. If you don't have also an effort to study, then nga. Okay? So, magiging siya confidence, time, effort, ganun siya. And then, the last will be the resources around you. What I mean, the books, the library, the online questions, the past examination questions, like that, the different sources, you try to compare. which is more easy to understand, right? Because there are also authors in the book that are too complicated to discuss, and there's also another type of books that's very easy to discuss, but still the same book. Physics book 1, physics book 2, physics book 3, book 3. And then you found out the physics book 3 is very good in the presenting of the discussion, then go to the physics book 3. Okay? Do not go to the other, which is very complicated in the approach of presenting the theories, the solution of the problem, like that. Kay mga muti tama, libong na nung tagsamot. Okay? Something like that. Okay, you get the point. Last na lang yung mga swerte, ganon. Last na lang yun na siya, mag-effort should come first because, lihok tao kay tabangan ko ikaw. Which is siya number 1. Ipasok ko, lihok tao kay tabangan ko ikaw. So if you will never study, then problem also. You get the point. So, though na yung mga swerte or na yung mga destiny na naghatag ni Lord, but we should follow this confidence, effort, time, and resources. Okay? So as much as possible, you will never dive if you have lack of preparation. Okay? Because effort and time is a component of preparation, actually. Okay? Like that. So that's why I break that up to time and effort. Actually, the preparation is in there also, in that particular component of the techniques and strategies how to pass certain examinations in the future, whether local or global examinations. Not limited to science, not limited to math, all. Okay, because in safety also it's just also like that. Okay, especially if you're taking up the Bush, OSHA, IOSH, it's still the same story, or ISO 45001. You still have to follow also that kind of studying. Confidence, okay, time, effort, and resources. Okay? If no resources, even though how good you are, because there are trending questions in which you did not familiarize pa, or you are not encountering that before. So nga. So it's better you have the resources, the past and present resources, or updated resources. Okay? Like that. Usually, they will take that up in the databases. Usually. Databases questions, and we don't know really what exactly will come out, but actually it will just come back. For example, if the examination is 2022, they will get the 1999 question, the 2001 question, like they will put back again in 2023, like that. But all of them, for example, 100,000 questions is already in the database. Okay, so for example, if they will get 100 questions, they will get 100 questions out of that 50,000 questions in the past and in the present. So it's gonna be rumbled, or you cannot expect also what particular question will come out back. Because honestly, when I take the general engineering, there is the same, questionnaire, but only the given is changed. The way it is being phrased is totally the same, but only the numbers are being changed. I remember that that's in the topic of momentum and impulse in physics. Really, the book I studied, because I bought the general engineering 10,000 problems solved. I bought that in National Bookstore. Okay? Apart from my books in my college, I still buy books for the previous examination. Okay? When I took the board examination, it's also come back like that, but the given is being changed. Now, if I do not buy that book, so I don't have an idea how it is being solved also. Okay? Or though I have the knowledge already, but it's good man good na pareho yun sa imong gitunan sometimes kay sakit man mong ulo. Really, it will create also headache and painful to your brain cells if you keep on thinking what are the ways how to solve that way. So it's better also that you have an idea how it is being solved, the same as what you have studied also. You get the point? So that would be better. Okay, because your purpose lang naman is to pass or like that, right? Okay, but actually really, nang-ambition po ko ato, before I really want to become a top-notcher at the time when I took the board examination. That's why I can say, ang taas kasi ng aim ko. Okay? That's why it really paid off. Muna siya netabo. I aim to become a top-notcher and then I pass. Because if I will aim only to pass, maybe I will fail. So you will increase the target and your aim. So that at least you will atuman lang ka sa tunga-tunga, di juga mo flank that. Itaas mang confidence level and positivism and target. Okay, ganun ba? Maximize. Okay? So this is my advice for all the students. First year pa lang mo, pang ambition mo top sa board examination. Because libreng mangarap. Okay? And that would be also your catalyst that you will study more. If you have that concept, oh, I want to become a top notcher. Because, and of course, you will not say that to your classmate. Just in yourself lang, just like me. I only saying this to you guys in my vlogging and live streaming. But when I was studying in my first year college to fifth year college in Cebu Institute of Technology University, I don't say that to my classmates because it's too embarrassing. Okay, I'm not very smart, I'm not very intelligent. I only in my mind, keep that in my mind and in my body and soul. I'll never share that. I have that aim. Okay, I only tell you now. Kalas na siya, wala naman ko mag-study. Oh, baya ko kami yung gusto ko matap na chair, di ba? You get bright kaayo, di ba? So, you have to put that in your mind lang, your heart. You will never say that to your classmates, of course. Kakaloka. Okay? That will be your motivation lang. Okay? Mga students, first year college pa lang, if you take engineering, please aim to become a top notcher. Okay? And then after that, use the techniques of in studying, confidence, time, effort, so the preparation like that, adequate preparation, and then the resources. At least you're updated in the latest science info, mathematics info, or any trivial questions like that. Because books in the past sometimes are obsolete. Obsolete, meaning very old. So there's a lot of new trending in our society today, in our world today, that we try to incorporate in the questions, and we don't know really. Okay, for example, like that. That's the time, munganga ka because you did not encounter that particular question. But actually, it's being there in the recent years, like this, like that. They just put that in the question. That's why I told you, buy resources which is updated and aligned in the new technology and in the present era of your age if you're studying. For example, if you're graduating in 2025, also buy a new books pertaining to 2025, something like that. Though we study also obsolete books from 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, but that's our basic foundation. But we need to buy also the latest updated source of information. Okay? Kay diha manggawas ang mga trivial questions na wa nimo ma-encounter. Really, okay? You got a point, mo na siya natabo. Okay, gano'n. So muna siya guys, mo palit dito ng mga libro, especially ka ng mga PRC past examinations, palit gid mo ka ng mga books. Okay? Ako ginabuhat sa una guys, when I graduated, I took the review in University of San Carlos. Okay? And then what I did, I compiled all the questions, okay, from the past. Okay, from any students, older students, higher, who graduated before me, like that. And then I also compiled the books, the different sources of books. And not enough pa yun siya, may palit pa yun kung mga latest books na sa PRC nga mga previous databases questions pertaining to general engineering, chemical engineering, like that. Okay, aside sa ito kong kipang tunan, so ako na siyang i-budget asa ko mo focus more, gano'n siya. Okay, and then when I have that all kinds of resources, I limit my personal aspects. For example, if you are really loving and going to the beach, or if you're really loving watching movies, if you are really loving going to the mall, if you are really loving to drinking alcohol or kanta-kanta, whatever, totally cut off during the review time. Okay? Mukanta-kanta lang ko after na-finish na ang tanang coverage sa akong study. Okay, like that. So, akong ginabuhat, from morning to 12 o'clock in the midnight. So, lapas pa ganit ko saan. Mabot ko alas 2 sa kadlaw. Grabe, alas 3 sa kadlaw. Magsugot ko buntag. Grabe dyan kayo guys. Ang akong tuon. Di dyan matabang sa chemical engineering. Dagkan dyan memorize guys. Okay? Okay naman dito. Di ba dyan requirement na memorize? Pero in my case, man good, I need to Katuloy kong giingon ni gusto jud kong motap. Okay, so how can I get my aim if I will just relax? Okay, because to become a top notcher is not limited only to intelligent students or dense lister students or smart. So it can be to anybody. You get the point? That's the logic there. To become a top notcher is for everybody's opportunity, not only limited to those honor students, magna cum laude. So that's the reason also sometimes the top notchers are not really honor students. Mo na siya netabo. Okay, you cannot expect some of the friends are really honor students if you talk to ask them one by one on the top 10. You cannot not will all they are honor students. They're just average because the effort matters a lot. Okay, efforts. Okay, because those cum laudes, magna cum laudes are trying to relax because they're very smart. They will not review a lot, right? But these average students, since they are not really that superior intelligence, they will do everything they want to do and they input too much knowledge in their brain cells. Much more with that magna cum laude. So, kung nag-relax lang sila during the review. So, there's a chance, ang katong mga magna cum laude, maapsa niya. You get the point? Muna akong ingunin nyo na anybody to become a top notcher is not limited to smart and intelligent student. Get the point? The same as also, failing in the exam, not limited also to the average learners or sa dili mga bright. Also, mahagbong po na ang mga cum laudes, magna cum laudes, like that, because they are too much confident in themselves. They don't study a lot. Because bright na sila daan. At karon sus ang nanggawas mga kuan man, mga bagong trending sa kuan, topic. Wala mag-study sa college sa una, yabo. Okay? Muna siya natabo. Nya mga questions kay dili pare-pareha sa katong inyong pangtun-an dito sa college pa mo. Lahi ra jud kaayo, nga. So muna siya may tabo, okay? So expect the unexpected na lang yun, guys, okay? You get the point. So thank you so much for watching. Matulog na ta mga palangga. Bye-bye and God bless everybody. I hope I could inspire students right now in front of me listening. Thank you so much all over the world. Different institutions and universities all over the world. Thank you so much. And second, I'm a singer, eternal voice. Bye-bye. God bless. See you later. See you in my dreams. Wow. May ganon. Nakakaloka. See you in my dreams. Nakakaloka.